Dear, guess what? Your mom has been surprisingly friendly to me lately. She's been messaging and calling quite a bit. It looks like she's starting to like me more. Have you chatted with her lately? I know you three didn't always get along. I still remember how Peter's message caught me by surprise. My mom, Margaret, has a reputation for being tough and mean. She's distanced herself from most of the family over the 5 years, except for my sister Amy. To keep some peace in our lives, my husband and I have always kept our distance from her. I never told Peter everything about her behavior. I wanted to leave that part of my life behind. I can't stop thinking about how Margaret's behavior suddenly shifted. Is she being real, or does she have some secret plan? Margaret has a history of being sneaky and manipulating things, so I'm suspicious of her sudden friendliness toward Peter. As time goes on, Margaret keeps spending more time with Peter, sending him jokes, chatting on the phone, and even inviting him to lunch. Although a part of me wishes for a better relationship with my mom, I'm mostly concerned. I tried discussing my worries with Peter, but he dismisses them, thinking it's good to improve his relationship with my mom. He doesn't get the years of tension that kept me away from Margaret. Inside, I feel more and more uneasy. I know my mom too well to believe she has truly changed. There must be a reason for her sudden friendliness toward Peter. Peter, we need to talk. I'm really concerned about the time you're spending with Margaret all of a sudden. I haven't been honest about her. She's unstable and risky. What's wrong with you? Margaret and I have just been having coffee and catching up. It seems harmless. Maybe she genuinely wants to make a positive change. As I expressed my concerns to Peter, frustration and fear surged through me. I couldn't believe he was downplaying my mother's real character. Why couldn't he believe me? Peter, please hear me out. I've personally dealt with Margaret's manipulation. She has a knack for distorting things and causing confusion. I'm genuinely concerned about what she might be planning. I don't think we should trust her. Unfortunately, my plea was ignored. Peter held on to his belief that Margaret had transformed, unaware of her true nature. A tight knot formed in my stomach, a sinking feeling that our relationship was being put to the test, and we might be falling short. Reflecting on my time with Peter, there were moments when we were really happy. We faced challenges, but our love was strong, and we worked well together. I cherish memories of those uncomplicated days. It's surprising how our story turned unexpectedly. With betrayal and deceit, the upcoming crisis would push me to my limits, and the person I once trusted completely would become a stranger. Back then, I couldn't see it coming. I felt like I might have been too tough on my husband. Peter, I apologize if I've seemed distrustful of you lately. I have a really rough history with Margaret, and it's tough for me to believe she could change. I didn't mean to question you. Helen, I get it. No need to worry. Nothing will ever come between us. I know you and Margaret haven't had a good relationship. These things can be frightening. In that moment, a spark of hope lit up inside me. Peter, acknowledging my pain and offering forgiveness, provided the comfort I needed. Thanks, Peter. I want to trust her again. Let's figure things out together. As we hugged, I sensed that everything might turn out okay. However, just as the doubt started to disappear, Peter dropped a surprising bombshell that gave me shivers. By the way, Margaret asked us to join her and your sister Amy for dinner. She wants to mend family bonds, Helen. I believe it could be a positive step for you. My heart raced with Margaret's sudden invitation. It triggered alarms in my mind, making me feel uneasy about the hidden agenda behind this dinner. I couldn't shake the feeling that it might be a trap. I warned Peter to be cautious, expressing my discomfort. Although I was open to mending things, I wasn't entirely comfortable with the situation. Amy had always been my mother's partner in crime, and my gut told me they were plotting something. Peter's expression shifted from curiosity to concern, but I couldn't make him listen. We agreed to the dinner, and 2 weeks later, I found myself outside my mom's house after 10 years. Dinner with Peter, Margaret, and Amy filled me with a mix of anxiety and uncertainty. Meeting my mom and sister felt like opening a box I'd rather kept closed. As they welcomed me with open arms and compliments, Amy's tone gave me a bad feeling. I ignored it, trying to focus on rekindling family ties. During dinner, everything seemed fine on the surface. We shared laughter and stories, catching up as a family. However, Amy's subtle glances at Peter, the lingering eyes, and the excessive praise raised my unease. Despite trusting Peter, I couldn't ignore the tension in the air. Amy tried to speak to him alone twice, making the atmosphere even more tense. As the night wore on, Amy's attention towards Peter became more conspicuous. She even tried to insinuate that I might be keeping him on a tight leash. I defended our relationship, emphasizing the trust we shared. Yet, the uneasy feeling persisted, and I couldn't shake the sense that something was off. The dinner didn't sit well with me, and things took a turn for the worse in the following 3 weeks. Out of nowhere, Amy messaged me, expressing joy about seeing me and Peter recently. I thanked her for the invitation, and she suggested getting the sisters together for a catch-up. Despite Amy's history of making my life difficult, she hadn't done anything extreme during the weird dinner. Unsure of her intentions, I agreed to meet for coffee. Amy proposed the idea of discussing relationships, making me uneasy about her sudden interest in Peter. When we met at the coffee shop, I wondered if people could truly change. I greeted Amy, feeling a bit awkward. She expressed missing our connection and suggested catching up. Although uneasy, I thought it would be nice to have my sister back in my life. As we chatted, Amy unexpectedly delved into my marriage, questioning how I won over Peter. I was puzzled by her interest in my husband, and the conversation took an uncomfortable turn. Amy's repeated inquiries raised suspicions, and I couldn't shake the feeling that there was a hidden agenda behind her questions. Amy eventually revealed that she sought advice on relationships, hoping to learn from my apparent success with Peter. Her curiosity about winning a man's heart raised red flags, and I began to question her motives. Instead of reconnecting as sisters, the conversation took an unexpected and unsettling turn towards relationship strategies. The Amy I used to know never faced any issues. She was smart enough to understand that love couldn't be simplified into tricks or formulas. What she really wanted to know was beyond my guess, but it seemed like it held the key to Peter's heart. Amy, building a successful relationship isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about a genuine connection, trust, and understanding. But I was curious about her sudden interest in finding someone like Peter. As Amy fidgeted with her coffee cup and avoided my gaze, it was clear something was wrong. The old family issues seemed to resurface. Margaret, my mom, might be involved too. Amy confessed that Margaret had been pressuring her to settle down and start a family, comparing her life to mine. She was seeking guidance, considering me her princess girl. I realized my mom had never forgiven me for resisting her manipulations. As Amy probed about Peter's likes and dislikes, I reluctantly shared details. My suspicions grew, and it was evident that Amy was up to something, especially when she mentioned Margaret. After spending time with Amy, I returned home to find Peter in the kitchen making a snack. I casually asked about his interaction with Amy, and he mentioned their distant relationship, which was surprising to me. The next week, I noticed troubling patterns as Peter grew more distant at home, creating a sense of drifting apart. It became a pattern, Peter's sudden workload and endless excuses for not being home. Despite initially brushing it off as him working hard, doubts lingered. My concerns deepened when my mom, after a long silence, reached out to me, asking how I'd been. "Hi, Mom. I hope you're doing great. I've been keeping busy and everything's fine on my end. By the way, something exciting is headed your way soon. It might make you rethink some things from the past." Margaret's message got me curious and a bit anxious. I'm not sure what she's planning, but I want us to have a good relationship. Let's chat and clear things up, okay? Don't worry. Let's just say you'll get what's fair. I hope you're doing okay. I felt really bad after reading your message. Little did I know that this was the start of the end for my marriage. But when Peter came home that night, I wasn't expecting anything unusual. "Helen, we need to talk. I have something important to share with you. What's bothering you, Peter? You seem upset. Is everything all right?" "I don't know how to put it, but I've made a decision. I'm ending our marriage, Helen. I've developed feelings for someone else, and my heart wants what it wants." Peter's words hit me hard, and I felt like my world was falling apart. He dropped a bombshell. Divorce? And he's fallen in love with someone else. It was a shock, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. How could he betray me like this? And who is this person he's fallen for? "I'm sorry, Helen. I never wanted to hurt you, but it's your sister Amy. We've been dating, and we're getting married. I can't live without her." Tears filled my eyes, and finding the right words was a struggle. My own sister, Peter? How could you do this to me? It's making me sick. How could you betray our family like this? Helen, you need to understand. Amy and I are happy together, and even your mom is supporting us. She's helping us financially to start our new life. Peter's words cut deep, causing me immense pain. It suddenly dawned on me that my mom had schemed to separate Peter from me and destroy our home. Trust in her, as well as Margaret and Amy, evaporated. My entire family seemed to have turned against me. Peter continued to explain his decision, sharing his joy, and my world collapsed. The love and faith I once had in him shattered instantly. I anticipated that the days ahead would be filled with chaos and heartache as I tried to make sense of my life. Anger surged within me, not only directed at Peter but at everyone involved. It was unimaginable that he would betray me with my own sister. Peter, after all we've experienced together, you betrayed me with my own sister. Leave this house immediately. I apologize, Helen, but I can't just leave. Let's discuss this and figure out how to move forward. I want you to find happiness. No, Peter, there's nothing more to discuss. You've broken our trust and our marriage. I can't stand to see you anymore. Gather your belongings and leave now. This doesn't feel right, Helen. I don't want to hear any more. Please leave. As I saw Peter collecting his belongings, a mix of feelings overwhelmed me. Anger, hurt, and sadness all tangled up. I felt a sense of pity for myself. Peter packed up and walked towards the exit. Helen, I'm genuinely sorry for my actions. I never wanted to cause you pain like this. I hope one day you can find it in your heart to forgive me. You must go now. As Peter walked away from our home, the harsh reality hit me. I was on my own, betrayed by the person I trusted the most and even by my own family. I sank to the floor, tears streaming down my face, pondering how I could endure this, and if I managed, how I could rebuild and find love once more. Later that night, my mom added salt to my wounds. Helen, just so you know, I've triumphed. Peter is mine now, and there's nothing you can do. He's bound to us forever, and you'll never find happiness again. You won't escape me. My heart sank again when I read the message. Is this really happening? How can my own mom be so mean? How can she enjoy hurting someone and use Amy to take Peter away? It's really bad. What did I do to deserve a mom like this? Mom, your actions hurt, but they won't shape who I am. I won't let you ruin my life anymore. This was your final chance. Peter may be gone, but I'm stronger now. I'll find my own happiness, and it won't depend on anyone else. After that, I decided to block her. It was the last time I ever talked to my mom. The very next day, something totally unexpected happened to me. I was chilling in the living room when suddenly, there was a knock on the door. To my surprise, when I opened it, there was Peter standing right in front of me. Fast forward 5 days, and there's another knock on the door. Helen opens it to see Peter again, but this time his face is all angry and frustrated. Peter, why are you here? I thought we sorted everything out. If we need to talk, let's do it through our lawyers. Please go away. Don't act clueless, Helen. Why didn't you tell me your mom had problems? Oh, you didn't know. What's going on? Amy wants access to my bank account. Margaret won't give us a break, and she treats me poorly. I'm going crazy. Oh, Peter, that's awful. Why didn't you share such important information with me, Helen? You knew your mom had mental issues and you didn't mention it. Peter, I attempted to give you a heads up. I've been coping with my mom's sickness for a long time, and Amy has only added to the problems. I didn't want us to get pulled into that mess again, but you didn't pay attention. Peter's face showed regret. Amy and Margaret are causing a lot of trouble for me, and the money your mom said she'd give is nowhere to be seen. They deceived me. Peter, I wanted to shield you from the problems in my family by not sharing them with you. I believed it would spare you from pain, but I was mistaken, Helen. I acknowledge my mistake and apologize. Please, give me another chance. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Although a part of me wanted to say yes, the betrayal in our marriage is too much to forget. Unfortunately, there's no future for us. I'm sorry, but it's time to say goodbye. Peter tried to negotiate, express anger, and finally pleaded with me, but I knew I had to remain resolute. I got fed up with people treating me poorly and always taking advantage of me. Eventually, Peter and I split amicably, and I chose to permanently remove my mom from my life. The universe showed me how crucial it is to stand up for myself. While it was hard at first, I've embarked on a fresh start. I landed a new job, relocated to a different country, and discovered love once more. I'm excitedly getting married again later this year, and I'm thrilled for this new phase in my life.